The last season of Doctor Who was generally thought of as disappointing. Casual viewers were put off by the talking babies and self-indulgent musical numbers, while those of us who stuck with it were let down by the underwhelming end to the season's arc story. And there are no more episodes currently in production, so it could be a long wait before the next season. Still, this one is a decent start, not great, but good enough to make me cautiously optimistic for the rest of the run. We are immediately introduced to the new companion, Belinda Chandra, who has not aged in 17 years. I wish I could say the same. We see that she lives in a shared house and has a really demanding, exhausting job. If the whole season's about her trying to get home, it doesn't give her much of an incentive. You'd think she might enjoy having a bit of a break for once. Robots barge in and kidnap her, and they look pretty good. Big and colourful, practical rather than CGI. They would definitely make good toys, as would the floor-polished robot from later on. In fact, you could easily see them making a Roomba that looks and sounds exactly like that. And we get our obligatory appearance by Mrs. Flood. Apparently she lives next door to both Ruby and Belinda. It's not clear if it's meant to be the same street, but if you look at this diagram that I've produced using my expensive graphic design software, you'll see that it technically could be. I guess we'll find out next time Ruby shows up. Once they get to the robot planet, I'm not going to call it Miss Belinda Chandra 1, that's just silly. Belinda is proclaimed queen and sentenced to marry the evil AI generator. It's a stereotypically evil-looking robot with red and green eyes and arcs of electricity crackling away behind it. Luckily, it turns out to be just a front for the main villain, as it seems rather one-dimensional at first glance. And just calling it AI generator, instead of writing a story about an evil AI generator, seems a bit of a waste. I guess it's the sort of thing Black Mirror might do. I'm only halfway through this current season, so they may get to it yet. Once the Doctor makes himself known to Belinda, the story gets a lot better. The device of the robots not being able to hear every ninth word is a very clever idea. The sort of thing Stephen Moffat might have come up with. It's the sort of thing that works better in print. I think Jeff Vandermeer did something similar in one of his short stories. We learn the Doctor has been there for 6 months, helping the rebels start their revolution. This is his second story in a row where he spent long periods hanging out off screen, making new friends, so there's plenty of gaps for future books or audios to explore. Belinda gets to show her strengths when she leaps into action in the rebel hospital. Despite not being familiar with the biology or technology, she's not fazed and just gets on with saving lives. Already she's a stronger character than Ruby, who is basically a blank slate who hadn't really started her life yet, so this is a big improvement. There's a lot of confusing time travel business going on, most of it off screen, with robots getting the diploma from the future, sending it back 5,000 years, going forward to pick up Belinda, going backward to pick up Alan. It all seems a bit unnecessary, and on first viewing it's far too complicated to really take in. I guess without it the story would be a bit too simplistic. There are also some loose ends left over, like who told the Doctor about Belinda in the first place. Presumably this is part of the season's whole story arc, so we'll have to wait and see if it all hangs together by the end, unlike last year. Alan turns out to be the main villain, turned into a cyborg by some decent makeup. It's a deliberate commentary on toxic masculinity, and seems designed to upset the sort of fans who are upset that the Doctor wears a skirt, or that neither of the regulars are now white. So it's a bit heavy-handed, but it's all in a good cause. There was a very effective moment when the two diplomas touch and create a time paradox, with a very Lynchian scene as everything goes into slow motion and the Doctor and Belinda find themselves suspended in a red void. It's quite short but feels very innovative, and it's certainly a step up from when something similar happened in Mordred Undead. The final scene with Belinda and the Doctor sets up the premise of the whole season, with her unable to go back to Earth. This is the first time in a while we've had a reluctant companion who didn't really want to travel with the Doctor. We've had years of companions who are madly in love with the Doctor and would follow them into hell, so this makes a refreshing change. The last companion who was there against her will was probably Tegan from the 80s, but even then she only really wanted to leave in a couple of stories. By the time of Black Orchid, she was happy to just relax and enjoy the ride, so we'll see if the same happens here. Belinda's relationship with the Doctor is already more interesting than the instant friendship he had with Ruby. She realises he's dangerous, and anyone who hangs out with him is risking their life. Some companions take years to figure that out, so she's already way ahead. Overall, I'd say it's about as good a season opener as Smith and Jones from 2007. We get a promising new companion and the start of a new story arc. The actual plot is nothing to get excited about, but there are a few nice touches. Compared to Space Babies from last year, it's a big improvement, So hopefully the whole season could keep on improving and we'll end up with something decent by the end. If not, well, it's been a fun ride. And the last Wilderness years was something of a creative high point for Doctor Who, so maybe the next one will be as well. So thanks for watching. Please like or subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next week for my thoughts on Lux.